really want my stories to really show and share my love and my amazing hours and hours and hours and years of experience at sea, and all of the content and things I've learned and been able to like observe, from the beauty to the scary, but to just ignite curiosity and inspire learning more and caring more.
This episode of Grounded in Maine is sponsored by ESG Review. ESG Review magazine is published quarterly in February, May, August, and November, and is available for free in print and digital formats. ESG Review is devoted to environmental, social, and governance strategies, technologies, and investments. ESGreview.net is updated every Wednesday with 8 new stories and is home to feature articles, news items, and more. Visit esgreview.net to stay informed and help us spark the collaboration and awareness needed to develop sustainable economies and communities around the world.
There's a place where there's no trouble, no more pain, no more struggle.
Grounded in Maine podcast is an open conversation about how we show up for the world. I started this podcast out of a desire to learn new ways to be sustainable because the word sustainability is big. It can be overwhelming, and I just wanted to learn, different ways to try to be part of the solution and not feel like it's too late. So I'm talking to people who are doing different things and learning so much. I hope you are too. Hi there. Thank you so much for listening to Grounded in Maine today. My name is Amy. My guest today is Blair Williamson. She works under the name The Island Writer. She is a writer. She is an activist, an ocean activist, a sailing captain, a dive instructor, and a speaker, and also a global traveler. So Blair, thank you so much for being here today. She's just published a new book. So there are 3 that are sort of in the same theme, but the most recent one just came out not too long ago, and it is called The Ocean Protectors. So thank you so much for being here. I'm excited to learn about all of this. We've been talking for a little bit, so it's not like...
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I love, so this is for young people. But you grew up, I mean, you've been diving and sailing and doing all, for years.
Yes.
And now you're writing.
Yes.
But you're still doing those things, of course.
I am, as much as possible. Yes, I am. I grew up on in Richmond, Virginia, but had the opportunity to spend a lot of time on an island off the coast of North Carolina. So I think that's where my love of nature and the ocean was born very, very early in my life. And carried on through. I became a scuba diving instructor and boat captain after college, and spent a lot of years working as a dive instructor and captain all over the world. So I have a lot of experience working under the ocean.
Wow. All over the world, like really
Yes.
all over the world?
Really all over the world. Most of my time spent underwater has been in and around Tortola in the British Virgin Islands. But I also worked in the Bahamas and also on a sailing yacht over in Thailand. So spent a lot of time in the South China Sea, and over in the Ko and Pulau Islands of Thailand and Malaysia.
Very cool. Oh my
Yes.
goodness.
Yeah.
That's exciting. And so, so you've seen the ocean all over the world. Mm-hmm. And is there anything that all these places have in common? Like, what are you looking for different treasures or?
Interesting. So yes, I guess as a dive instructor and adventurous person in general, if you love scuba diving, a lot of times you go to different locations to find, if you will, different treasure, as in like experience diving with different fish different animals, and different areas of the world will have, you can go here to dive with the big fish and the mantas and the sharks and the humpback whales, and you can go here to see like the little tiny clownfish, and experience different types of algae and anemones and coral, and so every different areas will have different experiences to scuba dive.
Okay. And do you have a favorite?
What a great question.
Besides the home place.
Yes. Gosh, I really enjoyed the Socorro Islands in Mexico, because I had an experience where I was in the water. It was very cold. I had to wear a semi-dry suit and hooded diving, which I didn't love. I don't love diving in the cold water. But I got to dive with a mom and her little baby humpback whale, and heard like a whole pod of whales and dolphin calling to each other while we were scuba diving. And that experience, not only makes you feel very, very small in this world, because you're in this ocean just surrounded by vast,
these enormous,
deep, water, and these enormous creatures just surface and you hear them. And it was like one of those, oh my gosh, moments of like, this is the most amazing experience ever.
Yeah, I would imagine that would top a lot of things.
Yes. So that paired in that same dive, we had mantas with like a wingspan of really 18 to 20 feet wide.
What?
Like soaring over us. It was wild. So those moments really stick with you. They don't happen all the time, and that's cool, just to go to unique places like that. But anytime I can find a reef that's really alive, I could spend hours watching, little octopus change colors, or seahorses floating, or,
Oh my gosh,
like
you've seen seahorses?
I just did. I just got back from the Galapagos a couple weeks ago and got to see seahorses there.
Oh my gosh. It's almost like, I mean, I'm not a person that goes in the ocean. Those situations where like swimming with the whales, that would freak me out so much. I have a very healthy respect for the ocean and a love for the ocean, but I am a chicken.
I'll take you one day. Diving with the whales.
You can bring a camera and send me pictures of the seahorses.
Okay. You're more of a clownfish girl.
Oh no, I just don't want to go in the water.
Okay, that too.
I just want to see pictures. Okay. But it's almost like, seahorses are sort of, I mean, in my mind, like they're fictional characters, sort of. Yeah. Because they're so surreal looking.
They're so cool.
Wow.
They like wrap their tails around, like little blades,
they're like corkscrewy
seagrass, and yeah.
Oh my gosh, wild. Mm-hmm. And so because of these experiences, you are very passionate about sustainability and taking care of these oceans and these animals in the ocean.
Absolutely.
And you were telling me about, bringing your kids and seeing
yes.
Sad things.
Yeah. So I did have the privilege of bringing my daughters and taking them traveling with us while my husband worked. He was one of the directors of Global Expeditions Group, and when we would go down and visit him, the girls were able to start snorkeling at a very young age, and we started experiencing some things that the kids, it was of course sad for us. We see, as we're teaching and teaching a marine biology or conservation course to our students that, okay, how are humans interacting or impacting reefs, and you kind of teach that, and it's not that it gets lost on you, but you see it so much, like, oh, here's trash, here's an anchor in the middle of a coral head, or here's the, just the human impact on the ocean is everywhere, and not necessarily intentional in any way. It's just people don't necessarily know how what they're doing is impacting under the ocean, because not everybody gets to go down there and see what's happening.
For sure.
So the kids did at a very young age. We were actually in the Dominican Republic, and the whole story behind Island Girls Free the Sea of Plastic, which is my first book that I wrote, was my daughters were snorkeling and we saw a turtle swimming towards a plastic bag, and the turtle thought that it was a jellyfish. So in the book, I had it illustrated so that the plastic bag looks exactly like jellyfish, which it does even to the human eye underwater. Like, as dive instructors in the distance, we'll see a plastic bag floating, but we don't know if it's a jellyfish or a plastic bag until we get much closer. So that experience really affected my daughters. I was able to free dive down and grab the bag before the turtle ate it. But they came up and looked at me like, Mom, what are you going to do about this? Mm-hmm. And that really did spark, light a fire in me. They were asking so many questions, and I really started getting inspired by their curiosity and their emotional connection to our friends under the sea, or all the animals and living creatures under there that I've loved so much. And I didn't really realize how much I was passing on to them as their mom, my love of the ocean, and like, oh, what? Just observing the beauty underwater at such a young age, and then to kind of have that experience.
That beauty is at threat.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
My goodness. And we were saying before we hit record, like the power that children have over us. Like, Mom, yes. What are you going to do about this?
Right. Right. It's pretty crazy. And writing these books for kids has been very impactful, I think, for already, just because they start asking questions to their parents of like, well, what are we going to do to start helping with their mission and things like that. So
yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. Whew. And so then you wrote this book, and you have written 2 others since then. Yes. Mm-hmm. So one is called Birthday Bash, and the most recent, The Ocean Protectors.
Yes, this is Birthday Bash, and this is The Ocean Protectors. Yeah.
Yay.
Do you want me to talk about them a little bit?
Yes, please.
Okay. So Birthday Bash is a little bit of a different book as far as the messaging isn't necessarily directly, climate fiction or ocean activism, but it's a humorous social emotional learning picture book about a little mouse that's having a birthday party, and there's a bug on his boat. And he essentially totally freaks out and ends up sinking his boat, and realizes at the end that in fact living in harmony with the bug on the boat is the best way.
Right.
And,
if he had just left that bug alone, everything would be fine.
Bug alone, everything would be fine. And so in the end scene here, there's still the bug in the cupcake. But again, just a way to celebrate the ocean, inspire and ignite curiosity. It's a great book published by The Little Press, and that just came out in September 16th, illustrated by Taylor Woolley. And that's been a fun book because kids love humorous stories about the ocean.
Sure.
And then The Ocean Protectors is about coral bleaching. This book was inspired by our beautiful reefs bleaching. And the illustrator did an amazing job with all these whimsical illustrations. And the book, the whole idea was I wanted it to be a transformational way for readers of all ages to visualize climate change. So essentially, they, through the illustrations of the book, then will experience a bleached reef. And it inspires the girls in the book to start spreading the word. They find out different ways to keep the ocean clean, biking and using paddle boating, rowboats more than motorboats, There's like scientists on the beach researching supercorals. It's lots of different content for kids to like see and be like, ooh, what's that? Or I want to know more about that. So, you know, over time they start seeing little pops of color come back to life in the book and through the illustrations. And it definitely ends with a message of hope, that, you know, there's still time and there's things that we can do. And of course there's tons of back matter included in the back of the book for teachers and future learning.
Oh, nice.
Extended learning, and educational resources for teachers, family, anybody who wants to learn more.
That's wonderful. And so
Yeah.
what exactly is coral reef bleaching?
Yeah, so it's actually when the ocean rises by just even a single degree, the zooxanthellae, which is the algae that lives on the coral, leaves. So there's a lot of different ways that I show that in the book. Right here is like everybody's
like Exodus,
leaving the reef. Where are the fish going? You know, but also, you know, it's the act of leaving and all the animals leaving, but it's really what bleaches is that algae called zooxanthellae. And when they leave, the coral bleaches. That algae is what gives the color, the coral color.
Oh, interesting. Mm-hmm. And so the bleaching is the temperature change in the water.
Yes.
Okay.
Or the acidity levels. Sometimes, you know, there's an imbalance in the reef that like really disrupts them. A couple scientists have described it as like zooxanthellae are very picky and finicky. Like they like things just right. And if there's any sort of imbalance in the environment or change, they'll leave. And that is what bleaches the coral.
Got it.
Yes.
And it's more than just the algae that will leave because the fish are chasing the algae because that's their food, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So when the algae leaves, then, you know, the fish don't have much to eat. And then once those fish leave, then the big fish don't come. And, you know, it's just like this never ending cycle of, okay, well, so we got to go back to the beginning here and like keep the zooxanthellae happy, keep that algae happy.
And how my lack of understanding about the ocean, but like how do we fix it? Like, I mean, if it's temperature change, or you said acidity, so, you know, of course you said like paddle boats and stuff like that instead of motor boats, but like how do we stop the ocean temperature?
Yeah, so this is like a very complex situation.
Yeah.
And I always like to tell everybody that has me as a guest or an author or anything, I am not a marine biologist or a scientist. So I love the ocean so much, and I want to be able to communicate what is happening and inspire people to learn more. Ways that like we can help ourselves. I know that.
Okay.
Yeah, so like super blooms happen when the water is warmer. And I don't know if you know about red tide in Florida. That causes the like big fish kills on the coast.
We have it in Maine too.
Okay.
I feel like
it
smells bad.
Very, very bad and very disruptive to the environment, clearly, with, you know, the amount of fish that die, and essentially the oxygen is taken out of the water as well because of all of the algae that super blooms. So all of these, it's very, very interconnected, and it's a big topic that needs to be discussed.
Right.
You know, so
it's like changing the pH. That just it just upsets everything.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I actually really like the idea of, you know, showing these things that are happening, and not necessarily, you know, gently giving some suggestions, but also like they spark thought. And, you know, what what can, and so you finish the book and you're like, what can we do to, to help with this, and brainstorm together, stuff like that. So it's just sparking conversation.
Absolutely. It's been really great because it does leave people wondering of like, oh my gosh, wait a minute, there's something we can do, let's go do it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because the books do have a message of hope. I think that's very important. And very actionable items, activities. There's, I believe, 8 states who have banned single-use plastic bags.
I know Maine used to be one of them.
More, right? Yes, Maine was one of them, or is one of them.
I'm not sure if it still is, but I mean before COVID, and then COVID canceled that out, and I'm not sure if they ever really got it back.
Yeah. One of the cooler things that we did for kids at the Richmond Book Festival is we had the kids write letters to the local senators and local governors of your state, like, ban single-use plastic bags. Like, why haven't we done this? There's all these states that have. Like, can we join in on this awesome movement? And in all my travels, Europe is very ahead of the United States. And as far as like in the Mediterranean, they use, cardboard, more like water bottles, glass water bottles. They're not using plastic nearly as much as we are.
Right. They're saying this is a problem. We're just going to stop it.
Yes.
Like there's no like political back and forth. They're like, no, we're going to stop doing this.
Yeah. Yes. So.
I love that your the books are creating little activists and leaders, which is so important. It's just and I know that you were saying raising curious, empathetic global citizens.
Yes,
and that's exactly what that's doing. And just making people think about. Some people may think of the ocean as like, we see it in Disney movies and you see these colorful fish and everything, and you're like, oh, that's really nice, but no, they're real creatures, and they're at risk because we're not being more careful, and we're not thinking about them.
Exactly. Yeah, it's been like a balance of like, I don't want to talk to kids about climate with like overwhelming them. I really want to make sure I don't overwhelm them, so it's been like a lot about balancing honesty with hope. And, finding a way where, kids are very perceptive, and they can feel when something matters, And so when I'm up there talking or, reading a book or something, they really do come out with like a light inspired, or, they're ignited and ready to do something about it. And I just love that. And they want to feel a part of the story. Right. So.
I mean, I know that like I said, I don't go in the ocean really at all, but I do have that respect. Like I remember, and we were talking about Andrew Lewin of How to Protect the Ocean. Like when I had him on my podcast, I was like, that when I saw the graphic of the turtle with the straw in his nose,
right,
I was done. I was not a big straw person anyway, but I am like 0 straws, never again. I don't want any. I cannot unsee that, and so that changed my practices. And I think that it's tragic, but it also motivates.
Yeah, kids, they have done really well with. I mean, they're reading stories about war and see, a lot of violence in a lot of the books and content and story, TV programming and whatever. It hits differently for some reason to the kids. Like, yes, if they see that straw in the nose of a turtle. And I think one of the biggest things that I want everybody to kind of shift their perspective on is like, animals can't help themselves.
Yeah.
Like, they can't ask for their mom to, like, pull the straw out of their nose. The same thing, like, if, a dolphin gets entangled in a fishing net and, things like that. Like, they can't ask for help. And so I know this is kind of funny, but or it might sound funny or not, but as a dive instructor, I helped, you know, it was a fish on a dive, a turtle that was kind of hiding behind a sea anemone. Mm-hmm. And it had a hook in its little flipper. And I sat there at, you know, I was on a scuba dive, so I had a tank and I couldn't really speak, but like in my mind, I was like, come here, little buddy, you know, I'm okay, you know, it's okay, I'm gonna help you. And I like vowed to the turtle that I would help him and his friends. And there's not that many people that are like speaking up for the ocean, not so much in like, yes, it's a huge food chain and it's really, really important to our entire ecosystem.
Right.
But I'm talking about like on a personal, you know, the animal level of like, I love you. You are so cool and interesting.
It's emotional.
And it's emotional, just like everybody, you know, horse people love their horses. And like, I'm sure you would ask any pet owner, do you think your dog, cat, puppy, whatever has feelings? Yes. Yeah. Well, so do the animals under the ocean. You know, they have feelings too. Right. So I'm just a sucker for making sure that they're taken care of, because they cannot take care of themselves.
Right. Well, and I think that also the fact that your books end with hope, it gives you some like, I can do something, not like, you know, doom and gloom everything. You're just like, oh my gosh, like what did we do? And how do we, you know, how can we get out of this deep hole or whatever? But like, you know, you send people away with, you know, like you said, but hope, but, you know, it just gives you that little motivation, like, okay, it's like a baton, like here are some things that we can do, and this will make you feel good. Now you go do it.
Yeah, it really allows the kids to like become a part of the solution. Like they're not just inheriting a problem, that they are a part of the story. And it becomes like less about fear and more about connection, responsibility, and like even their small actions that give them, you know, a sense of agency to do what it is that their heart is telling them to do.
Yeah. I love that you encourage kids to write letters. I think that's wonderful.
I know. I really want to like create this whole huge movement where like, you know, one of the governors comes in one day and has like a stack of letters from kids
just
being
reads
like,
them and
what are we doing? And like, why aren't you doing something about it?
Can you imagine like a legislator in an office full of children and having the kids ask the questions?
Exactly. Like,
oh my gosh.
What else is going to make them listen?
For real. For real. I mean, they're not listening to adults. Somebody's got to get through, and like, you know, these people that have children hopefully have hearts, and they'll be like, I can't say no to that.
Right.
But it gives so much energy to the topic. Like, you know, this is the next generation, and they're saying,
and this is what they care about now, because they're now aware of an issue they didn't know about before. It's fairly simple. Like, we can actually do something about this. Like, stop creating plastic bags. Like, we don't need to use them. They didn't used to be a thing. And the issues that, you know, it just goes so far, but it starts with such a simple question and conversation and just starting to make people aware of what's going on. It's been like such a fulfilling way for me to kind of tie all of my passions and creativity and motivation together to give back to the world and really inspire the next generation.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, and so Blair, you were saying, you had mentioned, and I might have cut you off, but you were saying, I think it was before we started recording, but something about COVID. Really brought out.
Yes. So before COVID, I had been telling my husband a lot, I want to write a book. I really want to write a book. I want to tap into my creative energy. I want to write a book. And actually, when COVID happened, we were both working for Global Expeditions Group, and global travel stopped. I was one of the first furloughed from my position at the company because I was a part-time, remote sales employee. And, and so he looked at me and said, Blair, if you don't do something about writing these books now, you can never talk to me about it again.
The world has just handed that to you.
Yes. And that was the very first thing that I wanted to write about was, kind of the story, or my family's story of the girls picking up the plastic bag. This is them as babies at that moment.
Oh my goodness.
Seriously,
babies.
Yeah, babies. Like, they're very young. And we're in the Dominican Republic, and I'm like, well, a turtle just went to come eat this bag, and my mommy saved it, and what are we going to do about this?
What about all the other turtles?
Right. Like, I mean, there's so much plastic in the ocean.
Yep. Yeah.
So, yeah, it was that moment, and because of COVID, that I had the time and the motivation, and my husband really lit that fire under me.
Right. And what is Global Expeditions? Is he still with them?
I actually am still with them, working part-time in sales. But he and I both have been scuba diving instructors and captains for them. The biggest branch of our company is called Action Quest, and it's a teen education, experiential education program.
Oh, wow.
Located in the British Virgin Islands. And kids come down and learn about marine biology and oceanography and leadership training. It's unplugged programs where we certify them in sailing and scuba diving.
Okay. I mean, that's a really cool thing to know about also.
Yeah.
Teens, if you're interested in learning about the ocean or,
experiencing really cool, beautiful part of the world with the staff that work there are all very similar minded, amazing people who a lot of people go like working in the mountain skiing resort, ski instructors in the winter, and then come down and be scuba diving instructors in the summer for us. It's cool.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's
a lot
awesome.
of nature lovers.
Yeah.
A lot of activists.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. We need it. We need it all.
Yes.
And so let's see. I had highlighted a little thing. So from, I want to say it was your website. You said care and curiosity and not fear. And I know that you sort of touched on that a little bit with the hope conversation.
Yeah.
But I love that it's like a tagline of yours.
Yes, I think so. I mean, I really want my stories to really show and share my love and my amazing hours and hours and hours and years of experience at sea, and all of the content and things I've learned and been able to like observe, from the beauty to the scary, but to just ignite curiosity and inspire learning more and caring more about the ocean, and this planet in general. So that's kind of my whole mission is, raising curious, conscious children, my own, and also through books for everybody's children.
Right. And then having those kids lead.
Yes. And feeling like they can lead too. It's very empowering.
Yeah. I think it's important. I keep seeing things about, girls seeing women leaders and knowing that that's a thing. And so I think that, writing these books about kids, kids doing great things, also shows them what they can do. And, if they stick with that, then they'll be those curious, empathetic global citizens that you're aiming for.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, it's it's really been amazing. And like I said earlier before in our conversation, it's just so incredible to connect with the creators in this industry because everybody is so kind and willing to help each other and want to do better and, work together.
Yeah. We're on the same team. We're all,
Yes.
we're all doing similar things for the same purpose, really.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And
just experts in different fields.
100%. Yeah. Oh my goodness. This is so fun. And I love learning. I love learning new things about the ocean.
Yes, I know. Go Google zooxanthellae or homework, watch Chasing Coral on Netflix.
Chasing Coral.
Yeah, that is an amazing documentary on what is actually happening under our ocean with coral bleaching. I have it as part of the back matter in the back for, the kids can take it. It's just time-lapse documentaries of, Great Barrier Reef bleaching, and kids can be like, wait, I know what's happening. The zooxanthellae are
I saw
leaving."
that.
And
Right?
the ocean protectors.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful.
Uh-huh.
I think that I love also that you have that, you call it back matter.
Yes.
I think of it as like resources. So, or what do they also call it?
Extended learning. It's mostly like in books for authors, at least on our side. It's called back matter.
Yeah. So if there are questions, there are so many resources that
Yes.
you can look through and learn more.
Exactly.
And answer questions.
Yes.
Which is wonderful. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I love this, and I can't wait to share it. I think that
Thank you.
there's so many kids that maybe don't know that they need to learn about the ocean, and maybe that will spark education and activism, of course.
Exactly.
So
it's been really, there's one other thing that I wanted to mention as far as like the back matter and extended learning really
Please.
quick. On my website, I do have a free downloadable graphic for either like teachers or families or anybody who wants to do it. But it's the bleached coral page from the book with no text on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been an incredibly peaceful and like mindful, like kind of meditative activity for kids to color the reef back to life.
oh my gosh.
So that's been like a really cool kind of artistic activity that has been a really, I guess, successful creative way for kids to kind of think about, okay, I'm bringing this reef back to life, and it's like a different brain, I feel like, space where they're thinking about bringing coral reefs back to
I
life.
love that.
So, yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's wonderful.
Yes.
And then you can maybe even make it better.
Exactly. Yep.
Oh my gosh, that's so fun. Okay, so when I say the word sustainability, Blair, what does that mean to you?
What a question. Big question.
Right?
To me, sustainability is really about relationships. It's how we live in relationships to the places that we love. So the people around us and what we're leaving behind. So I don't necessarily like think of sustainability as like a checklist, but more of like awareness, kind of like what I've been talking about a lot in the books and like the messaging behind my books, is just like really paying attention, and caring enough to notice your own impact, but also notice the beauty around it. So when we really love a place or love something, we really want to naturally protect it. So that's kind of like the whole idea behind what I'm doing. That's what it means to me.
That's really powerful. I love that. Care enough to see the impact.
Yeah.
And care enough to do better. Oof. Goodness. And I love that you said the word relationship, because I think it really is like, it has been for so many like a take relationship.
Yeah.
And that's not really a relationship, but the reciprocal is so important.
Yes.
Goodness.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so how can people find you and the books and
great question.
all the things?
All the things. So my website is theislandwriter.com. You can find me on Instagram. theislandwriter8 is my Instagram handle, and I am on Twitter. Is just the Island Writer. Also Blue Sky, the Island Writer. And I recently joined TikTok. That book I just sold, the publishing house really wants authors on Book Talk, and so I'm gonna start that up. But that's also the Island Writer.
Okay. And you said you were saying that you just sent a book to be published, and can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, very exciting. It's about a little bee and a pirate that form the unlikeliest of friendships. The other books are all available on Amazon and bookstores. Please order them for your libraries, or I will have a full-blown like teacher kit. Actually, in the next 2 weeks for Earth Day, we're rolling out a whole curriculum that has been designed to go out for Earth Day, to celebrate Earth Day, and that'll be a free resource for all educators, parents, teachers. It's really cool with a whole slide deck and everything you could want. So that's all coming out next 2 weeks. You'll be able to download that on my website and or just contact me and I'll send it to you. I'd love to get this book in the curriculum in as many hands as possible.
That is so wonderful. That's so exciting. Oh my gosh, Blair.
Yeah.
Whew.
Busy.
My gosh, yes. I don't like, how old are your kids now?
They're
not babies.
9 and 11.
Okay. So they're fending for themselves. Okay. I mean, you're working from home.
Yes. Yeah. I'm working from home, and actually a lot of what I do, they're able to like
come along.
Well, they come along, but they give me a lot of feedback on like, oh, well, what if I had this character do this? Or, I have, I just signed with a new agency, Andy Smith and Creative Media Literature, CMA, Creative Media Agency. They are, we're about to get started and probably want a lot more climate fiction books. And so I'm like writing, and I have a middle grade that I'm editing, and a lot of stuff. Like my books are kind of growing with my kids. And so they're involved. They knew, that deal I just talked about with Buzz and Blackbeard. They knew I was just waiting on eggshells for months about that. And you should have seen them when they heard that they finally bought it. And they were, what? Mom, this is amazing.
That's so
awesome. They're a part of it. They really
they
care.
know that they inspired everything, right?
Oh yeah, totally.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh.
They're my biggest critics, for sure. They're the hardest editors.
Inspiration and critic. Whew.
Yes.
That's a big job. All right. Well, so you guys check out Blair Northen Williamson, the Island Writer, wherever she is. You can go to the website and get the links for socials, because what is it? Island Writer 8
Island Writer.
on Instagram?
Yeah.
8?
Well,
is it because there are 7 other Island Writers?
8 is a special number to me, and so yes, there's another Island Writer. She's very nice. I've talked to her. I'm like, I'm sorry.
Awesome.
I'm sorry you're being bombarded by, bookie people.
But she's a writer too.
Yeah, she is. Yeah. So the Island Writer 8 on Instagram. Everything else is the Island Writer.
All right.
So,
very cool. Well, Blair, thank you so much. I thank you for all the work you're doing and for loving the ocean like you do.
Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it, and love everything you're doing too. You're supporting us creators, and I love having our symbiotic relationship, helping each other out.
Absolutely. I just want to take a second to thank my guest again for speaking with me and sharing such great information. I love having these conversations with folks. I also want to thank Buzzsprout for hosting the podcast, for Jane Bolduck and her music genius, for Becca Coffron and her award-winning artwork. And thank you for listening. I appreciate that so much. Please check out the show notes for any links and extra information. And if you would like to follow my guest and find out more about them, I'm sure they would love the follow. And if you don't mind leaving a rating or review wherever you're listening, and just help to get this podcast in front of new eyes, that would be amazing. I would really love that. And feel free to reach out to me on the socials and let me know what you're thinking. And if you would like to be a guest on the podcast, please let me know that. I would love to have a conversation with you about sustainability. All right. Thank you again. I hope you have a great rest of the week.
There'll come a day, my mama told me, when I find love to have and hold me, a heart that's strong and so sincere. Just tell me, how do I get there from here? Oh, tell me, sickness, will heal the ache with sweet forgiveness. Wages of war will disappear. Just tell me, how do I get there from here? I wonder, how do I get there from here? Yeah, 'cause here now I'm so far down, and mercy's bound here to find me. When that state of grace has finally found me, well, there'll be music, ooh, and good friends around me, yeah, yeah. And I'll just smile through happy tears.